welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and at the request of Patreon subscriber God Santa, this is Bargain Bean Reanimator. This deck comes with a bit of a journey. When Rakshas's Bargain was previewed, well before the set came out, God Santa was already in my DMs, commissioning a league built around it. When the card finally came out, I had several requests to play Sultai Beans with Bargain in it, so I went back to God Santa and was just kind of like, what do you want to do here? You just want my best list of bug beans, or you want me to explore the space a little? And I was told, go for a version that explores the graveyard, maybe using Barrogoyf as a threat and Uro instead of traditional bug beans. So I went down that road, and then basically 36 hours before I was planning to record this video, Pokemoki slid into my DMs with a Rakshas's Bargain Reanimator list that had the Up the Beanstalks in the sideboard as a juke. And as we know, what is dead can never die. If there's a chance to play Reanimator while exploring Bargain in a graveyard shell, in what is more of a graveyard shell than this, I'm in. The deck has the core Entomb, Animate Dead, Reanimate stuff going on. We have Thoughtseize, Daze, Force of Will to shove it through. We also have huge amounts of self-mill in Rakshas's Bargain, which could dump a monster and put Reanimate in your hand from one card. We also have Witherbloom Command passively milling ourselves while we just kind of play normal Magic and interact with the board. I did include one Barrogoyf in the main as a mid-range target for Reanimate. If we mill this over or it gets countered or dies, I don't want to be all in on the two reanimation monsters, and you can't reanimate Uro for real gains. Barrogoyf is that mid-range monster. You may be asking yourself about Generous Ent. Why doesn't this deck feature Generous Ent, the green card in the Troll of Khazad-dûm cycle? And it's because that card doesn't seem very good to me. I believe Maxtortion has already trophied with a Generous Ent build of something similar to this. Pokemoki tried out Generous Ent and main deck Murktides over the weekend, and just chatting back and forth with him, it doesn't seem like that card is really worth the squeeze. You could just play more stable mana and better spells. The shell is still very much being worked out, exactly all the pieces it wants, but cutting all the Generous Ents made room for a bunch of cool spells that I'm excited to play, so I'm happy with that. And we get to max out on Bargain now, just send it as often as possible. And then in the sideboard games, if you think your opponent's going to bring in a bunch of graveyard hate, surprise, I'm an Up the Beanstalk deck now. Murktide Regent, Murderous Cut, Orcish Bowmaster, the whole bit. It's a little awkward because Bug Beans does care about its graveyard still. So if the opponent brings in something like Leyline of the Void, it's still going to be annoying to have to deal with that. But if they bring in things like Surgical Extraction or Nile Spellbomb, we can definitely grind through that. This is where we are. This is the full send Reanimator version in the main with the beans in the sideboard. Let's try it out. Announcing the Buffalo Chicken Dip Legacy Winamax weekend in Columbus, Ohio. Saturday, August 2nd, the BCDL Legacy Open 4, a Mox Jet for first and dual lands for top 8 guaranteed, with more duels and staples added down to 24th place if the event gets 100 players. Sunday, August 3rd, Stronghold Mox Diamond for first, dual lands for top 4, and Force of Wills for top 8 guaranteed, with prizes scaling up at 48 and 55 players. Both events are unlimited proxy playtest card friendly, anyone can play. Please review the playtest card policy on the event pages. Signups and additional details are linked in the video description or included in a full post in my YouTube community tab. I'll be there, I hope to see you too. I am on the play in round 1 with Entomb in my hand. There are 7 Reanimates in my deck that I can draw towards, and I have the Force backup. We are in. I also have Force blue card plus Daze if they're somehow faster than me. Opponent has Mull to 4. That's not very many cards. Let's find out if they are some busted combo deck or if they're unlucky. Those are the two outcomes. Once upon a time. There is some temptation to dazing that, but I don't think that's where I want to be in life. especially when I have stuff I want to protect. Okay. They are a once upon a time build of Oops All spells, it seems. Dark Ritual, Dark Ritual. Ooh, this actually does... If the last card in hand is Pact of Negation, I actually lose here. Alright, well, I'll force this. Okay. I didn't lose. Good news, everybody. Now I have an interesting decision to make. I might just fetch Hedge Maze and Sculpt. Bargain, I'll put that on top. Yeah, I'm actually gonna kind of pump my brakes here because my opponent is in the garbage. Don't think I'll need Wasteland this game. And I have a Daze versus a one-card hand. If I could just cast Barrowgoyf and hit them, instead of having to Entomb, I could hide that I'm Reanimator for game 2. I'm not going to work too hard on this, but I'm not going to send the Entomb right away. Okay, Underground Sea, Bargain. Show me the goods. All right, well, I'll take Animate Dead and Brainstorm and put Atraxa in the graveyard, just how we drew it up. And there's a Force of Will. I could Animate Dead their Informer and hit them with it. I think this is better. Well, the first Bargain ever cast in this deck by me entombed the Atraxa and gave me the Reanimate all at once. Okay, Archon of Cruelty in the mix. We've got Daze, Ponder. I don't need a Ponder. I'll take the Reanimate because I'm already holding Entomb. Tropical Island. And I don't want the Archon. Do I want the Archon? Yeah, I can just go to clean up. All right. Yeah, that's 9 cards in hand. I'll play this Tropical Island and pass, discarding Archon of Cruelty. All right, they've had enough. And I did not successfully hide what I'm up to. But I did successfully take game 1 versus Oops All spells. The Endurance, Consigned to Memory coming in. My deck already has a bunch of free permission and a wall of Thoughtseizes. Because of the juke in the sideboard, there's not a lot of actual sideboard cards. Yeah, it's just Endurance and Consign here. Probably cutting... Well, they do sometimes juke onto creatures, but juking onto creatures does not make sense in the face of Archon of Cruelty. Maybe Witherbloom Command is not what I want. That is -2 green cards for Endurance. I'm not excited about that. Yeah, I am gonna, well, if they have Dauthi Voidwalker, Fatal Push is very important. I don't really need Wasteland in this matchup. I'm gonna bring in a Barrowgoyf. Give myself a mid-range beatdown plan to match theirs if they pivot, and otherwise just have the interaction that I play available. This hand does not interact on turn 0 and does not have the black for Thoughtseize. I'm going to mulligan. Opponent kept 7. It's my turn to chase the bottom of the barrel. Uh-oh, I'm going to 5. Okay, keep. I'm going to bottom Atraxa and Reanimate and just hope I am alive when I start drawing lands. Fellmire. Thoughtseize, bummer. All right, well, have a look. I have 2 pair. Taking the Thoughtseize, doesn't want to get reached into. Do we have the Cabal Therapy follow-up? Annoying. All right, well, I'll force that because I'm going to lose 2 forces if I don't. There's Big Barrow. Yeah, not having a functional sideboard in the current Legacy format, not ideal. This is definitely an experimental list. This is not how I would build a deck if Eternal Weekend was tomorrow. We're just exploring the space. Boggart Bog. Dark Ritual. Well, I'm required to interact here. They have 1 card left in hand. It's either Pact and they win, or it is that was just functionally duress to get the force out. Reanimate. All right, deck, I need a land. Another Reanimate. They're playing Draw Go. A Daze. That'll be good if I get a land someday. Isn't it fun when the Legacy play pattern lends to games like this? Where you mull to 5, keep a no-lander, Force of Will 2 spells. Alright, Elvish Spirit Guide beats are the new game plan. Entomb, cool. Thoughtseize, yeah, my hand is trash. Have fun. You probably take Entomb here. Yep. They're at 7 to my 18. If I can get anything going, it doesn't take much to kill them. Bargain's not it. They can sack the Spirit Guide to Cabal Therapy if they find an actual combo line. A swamp. Oh my goodness. Okay, I can Reanimate Balustrade Spy. Targeting them could kill me if they have the line, so I'll probably target myself with this, actually, and hope I mill one of my monsters. I target myself. I milled an Entomb and Undercity Sewers, but now I'm winning the damage race. If I had Force of Will available, I would have targeted them and countered the Memory's Journey. But I don't have those things. Bayou, I still cannot cast this Daze in my hand. The race is on. Opponent does not have another creature to reanimate. I actually feel a small glimmer of hope here. Land number 4, tapped. It's still racing. My next land plays Barrogoyf, which is a serious animal. And they can't even really Cabal Therapy the Barrogoyf to play around that because they know I have Reanimate. That could just be Barrogoyf. Oh my goodness. The ability to cast spells. Busted. Would I rather bargain or deploy the Goyf? I think I'd rather bargain. As I'm winning the damage race, I lose if they thread spells together that kill me. And bargain does the most to protect that from happening. This is 4 looks at a force or endurance plus green card. They've seen the Daze. I don't think they would blind name Rakshas's Bargain with Cabal Therapy. And playing the Barrogoyf doesn't put lethal on board anyway, because they can block for a turn. Spirit Guide's going in. If they therapy me, I think I'm going to Daze the therapy. Because every mana could matter here, but Daze is also a blue card for force. Alright, we're just casting Boggart Trawler for the beats. That's going to have to be okay. This does not change the race. End of turn, bargain. Animate Dead, Force of Will, or Thoughtseize, Force of Will. Thoughtseize land is interesting. Well, the Thoughtseize does change into the race, which is super annoying. They have 2 creatures, and Cabal Therapy will name Force of Will in the blind. I think I'm going to go Thoughtseize Barrogoyf here. Another bargain. Alright, Thoughtseize you. 3 packs and a Spirit Guide. Well, I'll take the Spirit Guide, play Barrogoyf, and hope they don't draw a Spy. Okay, I'm currently winning. They have to draw one of their 7 remaining mill creatures. We got the GGs in the chat. Ugly, disgusting, filthy magic. But we did 2-0 oops all spells. All is right in the world. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in round 2. Thoughtseize Animate Dead Atraxa. I have Force Blue card, even though I don't really want to lose Atraxa, but this is the format we have. My hand's extremely interactive. If I draw a blue card that's not Atraxa, I could Thoughtseize myself and then have Force to protect the Animate Dead. We got another Mull to 4 in the chat, so feeling good about this Force Blue card now. I'll feel even better if they land pass and let me Thoughtseize them. Stitcher Supplier. This feels like something I need to interact with. Interesting. Okay, this might be kind of berserk, but I am going to force this. If they're on 4 cards, this is kind of like Ancestral Recall. That's also Dark Ritual. I don't know. That could have done a lot. Oh. I think I would like to Entomb and then Reanimate. I'm going to skip the Thoughtseize here. Another Swamp. I hope they just like played Bloodghast or something that I could not possibly care about. Cabal Therapy. I don't think they're going to name Entomb or Reanimate here. Or Animate Dead. Name Up the Beanstalk. Oh, I just pitched Atraxa, so maybe they do name Entomb. They do have more information than I thought. I think I'm supposed to Entomb in response. But Therapy was the card I was scared about when I forced the Stitcher Supplier. They did name Entomb. Good call. Yeah, I forgot I pitched Atraxa. Opponent with the sniper scope over there. Undercity Sewer. Well, I'll Thoughtseize this last card in your hand. Goryo's Vengeance. Yeah, let's have that gone. And I've got access to Hedge Maze here. Yeah, if I had Entombed in response to the Cabal Therapy, then they probably name Reanimate. If they happen to go... Okay, well. Garbage Magic again, but I'm up 3 cards and have access to 2 Surveil lands. I think I'll be able to figure this out before them. Hedge Maze. Rakshas's Bargain. Yes, please. Okay, pass. It did not play a card. Will this deck contain Orcish Bowmaster? And do I care if it does? Entomb and Ponder to my hand. Some lands go to the graveyard. Thoughtseize. Well, let's find out. Thoughtseize you. Unmask, sure. Ponder. Archon of Cruelty. Fun. Okay, so I get to go... I could just put that in the graveyard with the sewer, but I think that's worse than entombing it because I don't want to draw Wasteland. Okay, I'm going to draw Uro because that's just like something to do. And then I'm going to entomb Archon, and then I'm going to play sewer. And I'm going to hope they don't play their own reanimates. I am going to leave Glorian Revealed on top because that's the second green source for Uro. Yeah, I don't actually know if this is some sort of like Hogak deck or if they have their own, if they're just like Black Turbo Reanimator with some other stuff going on. Oh, there's Animate Dead. Island Cycle, get Trop. And I'm ready. Please don't top deck Reanimate on me. Okay, they're passing the turn. Saying there's a chance. Cool. Now I can Uro and Animate Dead. I'll get another Trop, and I'll play Uro first. Uro's on the stack. Brainstorm, Found, Animate Dead, Archon. Hopefully the corner is turned here. Alright, just needed another turbo combo deck to mull to 4. I'll take it. Endurance comes in. I don't even know if Consigned to Memory does anything here. Stitcher Supplier has triggers. Barrogoyf, Murderous Cut. I'm not juking. Fatal Push, Witherbloom Command. This is going to look pretty similar because it's basically the same thing. I like Uro in case this gets sweaty. Do I care about Murderous Cut, actually? I don't think so. Yeah, same sideboard plan. Let's do it again. 61 card special from the opponent. I'm going to mulligan this hand, both because it loses to Unmasked Reanimate and because it doesn't do anything. Oh my god. This is like the same hand, but way worse. Do I keep this bottom and entomb, try to play on Bargain? I don't think so. Alright. Well, I'm going to stop somewhere, even though this sucks. Thoughtseize. Enjoy. My hand is very bad. Took the Force, the Friendless Force of Will. Barrogoyf. I like that one. Now I'm counting on Hedge Maze to flip my Atraxa. That's the game plan here. Alright, well, I'm not going to have Reanimate. It's Barrogoyf or bust. Ooh, we have a Dark Depths package. I have no plan for that. Oh, I have 2 Wastelands in my deck. Alright, I have a small plan for that. Hedge Maze. Reveals Animate Dead. Oh, we're not there anymore. Let's just make Barrogoyf bigger. Oh, Wasteland! Ding, 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 ding. I'm just going to park that right in play. Alright, Barrogoyf's gone. But I hope this Dark Depths is important to them. Now my Reanimates are back on. I can target Barrogoyf with them. Thoughtseize. Alright, what are you working with over there? Mutated Cultist. When this enters, remove all counters from up to 1 target permanent. That exiles the... That triggers the Dark Depths. So they have multiple depths. I'm going to take Hexmage here. Cultist costs 3, Hexmage costs 2. I can deal with either one with Wasteland, but not both. They did have a second round of combo there, but they're struggling on resources. I think I'm favored from this spot. Another Swamp. Good Thoughtseize. Reanimate. Now I wish I had Thoughtseize the Atraxa. But we can't know these things until they're in front of us. I'm going to Undercity Sewers try to high roll before I Reanimate. This does let them discard Atraxa, which means if they draw a Reanimate, they can clap right back. I actually don't even know if reanimating that Archon was correct. Letting them dump the Atraxa. Maybe I'm just supposed to pick up Barrogoyf and leave them with a shitty hand. It's alright. I'll just plug my ears. Ooh, Spoils of the Vault. Here we go. They're probably going to name Reanimate. I hope they take at least 7 damage before they find one. They just took 1 million. I think the Spoils of the Vault killing the player who cast it rate on this channel is close to 95%. There was one time a Doomsday player named a card completely at random at 1 life, and it was the top card of their deck that they needed, and every other time the player has died. So it's the full best possible, worst possible spread. On to the next round. The 9th installment of the NYSE Vintage Open Series is coming. This 15 proxy vintage tournament with Power 9 prizes takes place on Saturday, June 14th, 2025 in Long Island, New York, and has a $500 entry fee. That's a hefty entry, but the guaranteed prizes for top 8 are Unlimited Black Lotus, Ancestral Recall, Time Walk, and all 5 Moxen. The NYSE Open 8 went well for me last year. Someone better come stop me from getting another Lotus. Will it be you? I'll be at the NYSE Open 9 on June 14th, and I hope to see you there. Register on melee.gg or use the link in the video description. On the draw, in round 3, a no-lander that does have Force Blue card, Thoughtseize, and Tomb Reanimate. If I knew the top card of my deck was Polluted Delta, this hand's actually the nuts, but of course I can't know that. Alright, cool. It's like that hand again, but this one works. I'm going to bottom Basic Island here. I think that's the least exciting card in my hand. A Misty Rainforest. Is this an honorable opponent who wants to play Fair Magic with me? I say with my Reanimator deck. Okay, I found Animate Dead, Reanimate Barrowgoyf. These are not the cards I'm looking for. Barrowgoyf's fine, but I need an Entomb, not 2 more Reanimates. I'm going to shuffle, and now I have a different blue card for Force. Or a second Force if I find another blue card. A Basic Forest. What are we doing with that? Cycling Lorien revealed. Respectable. Getting a snow-covered island. Is this Simic Omni Show? Are we going to see Icefang Coatl? What are we doing here? A bargain. So now I do have Force Blue card, another 2 pair. Impulse. Yeah, this is definitely Omni Show. And with the forest in the deck, I have to expect Mistrise Village, which isn't a fast problem, but it is a problem. My opponent doesn't need to be fast here. I'm going to get Hedge Maze. The 3rd bargain. I actually am going to keep this because starting to cast those while leaving out Force Blue card is pretty exciting. Full house. My hand keeps improving. There's Mistrise Village. They're stonking up. So next turn, no number of Force of Wills will beat them. I have to bargain into a Wasteland. I do have the outside play of, even if Show and Tell is uncounterable, forcing everything that comes out of Omniscience. It's not really how I want to play Magic, but it works. Wasteland and Thoughtseize are 2 of the best cards I could find here. Well, there's Wasteland. I'm interested. Do I want a second Wasteland in case they find a second village? Or do I want Daze? I think I want a second Wasteland. Dumping Brainstorm and Daze. Take out this unbeatable card. And passing the turn. Okay, they're just going to clean up with 8 cards in hand. I'm going to bargain again. If they have just like a random Spell Pierce, they have to go to discard anyway here. Force Pitching Cunning Wish. Deal. I have a Undercity Sewers in my deck that I think I'd like to high roll on here. Undercity Sewer, trigger, Entomb. Well, that's a plan for next turn. Now I know where my game is going. End step Intuition. I'm going to let this resolve. They got 3 Show and Tells. Their hand has Show and Tell in it. Surprise. Ponder. Okay, so they're still scrambling even though they just banked the Show and Tell. This makes Thoughtseize a very good card. Unless they've been sandbagging an Ancient Tomb to play around Daze. I've shown them a Daze now. That's something they have to consider. Okay. Entomb is on top of my deck. I could keep Bargain as a blue card. I could also bargain into the Entomb. They forced the last bargain I play. Yeah, I'm going to do this. Because this could be the Entomb. And Entomb it is. Do I want 2 of them? I guess I do. Yeah, I want 2 Entombs here. So I hope they fight over one of them. Okay, Entomb, please cast Force of Will. All right, well, Atraxa goes to the graveyard. Reanimate Atraxa. She's in there. Show me a Thoughtseize. We did it. There's a Thoughtseize, a Barrowgoyf. Uro's a blue card. I don't need Barrowgoyf. Uro, Force of Will. Do I want a land? I guess just getting it out of the pool of cards I could have is fine. If I don't take Thoughtseize, I could take Reanimate, and I could also have Arc on this turn, but I think I'd rather Thoughtseize them. Yeah. All right, done. Underground Sea, Thoughtseize you. What have we been hiding over there? Suddenly a Force of Will revealed, pitching Omniscience. Well, they know about this Force Blue card already, so I'll send one back their way. Veil of Summer, gross. I'm going to force that too. This is actually a devastating exchange if it works for them. And it's pretty good if it works for me. Thoughtseize, Veil Emrakul. All right, well, We know there's only one show and tell left in their deck. Ancient Tomb, Emrakul, Veil of Summer. I could Witherbloom command them. I don't think it's doing anything else. All right. Target player loses 2 gates too. And do I want one of my lands left? Do I want to mill them? Milling them could flip Emrakul. Yeah, that's fine. It's not doing anything else. Black, green. Mill you. I pick up Wasteland. I did not mill the last show and tell. All right, we're hoping for the best here. Or at least not the worst. They played out the Ancient Tomb knowing that I just picked up a Wasteland. A little suspicious, but I'll give it to them. Big swing. And I'm going to bargain here. No, I'm not. I don't want to turn Veil of Summer into a cantrip by accident. I'm just going to pass. Because they die if nothing happens here. Lotus Petal. 1 unknown in the hand. Stock up. All right, well. Not a fight I could fight. Witherbloom Command is lethal. Reanimate is lethal. If they Force of Will anything, that's lethal. And Step Bargain, that's the 4th of the game. For those keeping track at home. Oh, just the worst cards imaginable. Okay, I'll take another Entomb and a Polluted Delta. And I'll fire this Entomb. Put Archon in the bin. Thoughtseize. Shit. And we know they have that Veil. Put it a 1. Yeah, there's not really anything to be done here. The Thoughtseize could cost them their Lotus Petal, but it's also a cantrip. Emrakul doesn't beat me by itself. They have to Omniscience her. Shuffled the library very quickly. Okay, that was tight, but we did it. I love Thoughtseize in this format. I've been saying that every video. It remains true. A Carpet of Flowers, Bowmaster, Barrogoyf. Fatal Push once again coming out. Witherbloom Command once again coming out. And relying on Thoughtseize versus a main deck Veil of Summer situation I don't love. But it is what I have. That Wasteland was clutch when I found it. I can't pivot here because their deck is so fast. If I am Bug Beans, I'm worried about decks like Mistrise Omnishow. So pivoting into the deck that's more worried about it doesn't make a ton of sense. Maybe Barrogoyf doesn't make sense. Bowmaster, I'm obviously all the way in on though. I'd love to cut a land. Can I get away with that? I don't think I need basic island here. I'm bringing in 2 Carpet of Flowers. Yeah, I'm going up mana sources. Let's do it. Hand's pretty cool. I have my Mighty Thoughtseize. I have my answer to Mistrise Village. Hopefully the opponent just casts Ponder or Preordain or something. If they leave up potential green mana, I can't Thoughtseize them. Okay, this is earmarked for Hedge Maze. And I can put in Archon if they show and tell. That's only good enough that they try to raw rip me with an Emrakul. It's not going to be an Omniscience. Carpet of Flowers. Disappointing. I boarded out my Witherbloom commands. And now Wasteland looks even worse. I'm still going to get Hedge Maze. It's still right. Hedge Maze. Daze. That card does beat Veil of Summer this turn, which is an important thing to do. Thoughtseize you. We've got a fetch. We got a Veil. We got a Daze. Thoughtseize has resolved. We have an Uro pivot. Don't love that for me. They're pretty far away from show and tell being good. Their whole hand is solid here. I think I'm going to take show and tell though. That's the one that kills me the fastest. They can evoke the front side of Uro this turn. There he is. Okay, basic Swamp Thoughtseize, pretty good follow-up here. Keeps the Carpet in check. Second Carpet, Force of Will, Brainstorm, Ponder. It's probably Brainstorm. That's the one that can take away all the information I've worked so hard to earn. A land cast Uro here, and then I'm in some amount of trouble. Ponder, okay, cool. That's the known blue card for Force gone, and it means Uro's not happening this turn. Island, Uro in the bank for next turn, even if I Wasteland because of Carpet. Okay, we're going to have to outmuscle Uro somehow. Force of Will, not the worst card I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, they can cast Uro just off Carpets. So good. I'm going to respond to Uro with Bargain and see if they want to fight over Bargain. Animate Dead, Reanimate, Force blue card. I feel like I need access to an Animate of some kind. I have a Force. Brainstorm's another. Okay. I'm going to take Reanimate Brainstorm and try to Archon to beat this Uro. The Brainstorm means that any fetch land gets Archon into the graveyard because of Undercity Sewer. Alright, deck. Ponder. We still have a chance. I'm going to start with Ponder. Okie dokie. There's actual Entomb. Is Atraxa better than Archon here? I think so, because Atraxa discards Archon. Okay. Atraxa, land, Entomb, do not shuffle. Play out Wasteland, Entomb, Atraxa, Reanimate Atraxa, Force. Their Force. Of course, of course. Beastorm in response. So they're looking for, what, Veil of Summer? Or just some sort of clean graveyard hate? They force pitching Ponder. I'm going to force pitching Brainstorm. Bargain is still the card I'm more excited about here. Atraxa's in the garbage. Reanimate Atraxa. Okay, Atraxa is more powerful than Uro. And here we've got Barrowgoyf is the only creature. I don't think I want to Thoughtseize them anymore. Brainstorm can be my instant. Ponder can be my spell. Underground Sea can be my land. Okay, here we go. If they show and tell me I'm holding the Archon that they don't know about, I'm saving Wasteland for Mistrise Village, even though at this point they can play it and activate it in the same turn and just hide it from me. But these carpets are doing their job. Blue, blue, green, green in the pool. Something like Otawara puts me to 1, and then Barrowgoyf has to win the game for me. Ancient Tomb. This is so much mana, what's happening? Cunning Wish. Alright, yeah, wishing for a bounce spell works here. Echoing Truth puts Atraxa back in my hand. Yeah, that works. I go to 1. And it's up to Barrowgoyf. Carry the day. Losing to Uro in my Sultai graveyard deck is so insulting. I'm going to Wasteland Mistrise Village right now, in the middle of combat. That is the only reason Wasteland is still in my deck, and I want to take care of it before they get to a spot where they can cast a spell. Oh, there's Force. A moment before it mattered, or after it mattered. Underground Sea. I guess I Ponder here. I should Barrowgoyf first. And then Ponder, just in case they have Daze. Carpet Uro. And these are a game plan that can push back. Turns out Pondering first would have been better this turn. Would have played around Daze just fine, but I did what I could to play around it. At this point, my opponent knows if they show and tell I at least have Atraxa to put in. No mana from Carpets. They can Uro and then just get the trade, recast Uro second main. But at that point, I'll be at 5 life. And Force of Will's back on. But I don't need Force of Will because I can now tangle with Uro. With my own Uro. Is that true? I get 3 green. Yeah, I think I'm going to ignore this Uro. Oh god, they're casting Ashen Rider. They made white and black. What is going on? Are they casting Omniscience? That would be sweet. Oh, they're casting Atraxa. Yeah, that makes sense. Force pitching Brainstorm on that shit. Okay. Now there's an Atraxa in the graveyard if I find a Reanimate. And a stock up with their remaining mana. And Carpet of Flowers is a good card. Unfortunately, I only have 1 green source, so my Carpet can't cast my Atraxa this turn. Alright, Carpet, get in. Go to second main. I'm going to make green with this and try to bargain into a Reanimate. Or an Animate Dead, not a Reanimate. Green. Here's bargain. I found Reanimate. The wrong one. The second Carpet is interesting. That's pretty close to casting Archon or Atraxa next turn if it's not there already. All right, I'm going to take Carpet and Reanimate. And I guess I'm playing my own Uro here. This game has become very strange and exciting. I have Entomb Reanimate in my hand, but both my monsters are already there. Show and Tell is not a reasonable thing for them to do, but they can cast. This is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 mana. They could cast an Omniscience. They're pretty far away from Emrakul still. This looks like Omniscience. Oh yeah, here we go. What's left in the hand? Ponder. They probably win from here, unless they mess up. Or get extremely unlucky. Did not shuffle Ponder. There's Emrakul. Okay. Fun. That was pretty sweet. I mean, dominated by Carpet of Flowers. Witherbloom Command can come back in to deal with the carpets, if I'm worried about that. Daze looks pretty bad. By comparison. Yeah, I think I'm doing this. This is my change. And I don't think going into Beans makes any sense. It's kind of tempting to hide behind the forces and trigger Beans a bunch, but I don't think that's where this game's going to go. Sick. All right. Highly interactive hand. I get to Thoughtseize them before the Veil of Summer is online. I can deal with a Carpet of Flowers, Cesia, Show and Tell, Brainstorm, Cunning Wish. And the Show and Tell is kind of scary. They have Ancient Tomb, Lotus Petal. I'm actually going to take Brainstorm here. This is a kind of a high roll. I need them not to draw Emrakul right now. But they also have to respect Force of Will and Daze. Misty Rainforest, Lotus Petal. Any blue card is a great draw for me. That's also a great draw for me. Okay, Hedge Maze. Can I flip? All right, did not high roll here. I'm going to keep Bargain on top. That is a blue card if my Entomb gets countered. They could just have a Surgical Extraction in the sideboard as well. And Cunning Wish for Surgical is a line here. Kept a card on top. Misty Rainforest. Whatever they're doing is not playing around Daze. I hope they cast Stock Up. But they would have not used their Lotus Petal for that. Oh god, am I just going to lose? Okay, it's Uro. That one's okay. I'm going to respond to Uro with the Entomb and put Atraxa into my graveyard. That's one less draw. Ancient Tomb. They used their Lotus Petal to do that. Okay, blue card off the top is great. We did it. Reanimate Atraxa. Trigger. Hope to find a Black Source and a Thoughtseize. None of the above. I found a Wasteland. That doesn't seem bad. Okay, Force of Will, blue card. Animate Dead in the bank and Wasteland. Done. Just going to waste this Ancient Tomb. Take them off as much mana as I can. And now I have Force blue card, and they know about one of them. Brainstorm is fine. That's not where I'm putting my energy. Misty Rainforest, I did not know about that card. Ponder. They're shooting their shot here, spinning their wheels. Did not shuffle Ponder. Another Force of Will. And I'm going to attack with Atraxa first, and I think I'm going to Witherbloom command for Drain, mill them, and pick up a land. Because if they tried to hide a good card on top of their deck from Thoughtseize, this will mill it away. And Wastelanding them again while I'm beating the crap out of them like this is awesome. Flusterstorm, Force of Will, Show and Tell, just milled away. Wasteland, take out the Trop. We're just full tempo gaming at this point with our 7/7 in play. And a number 3 still available. Show and Tell, Force of Negation, Exiling, Force of Will. That's gone. Entomb, a mana short of all of that and everything that implies. Bowmaster rips pretty hard though. I'm just gonna play Bowmaster now in case they want to draw any cards on their turn to make that worse. Could still lose this game. It's possible. If they have Show and Tell, Force Backup, Omniscience, Cunning Wish, is that Force? Omniscience, Show and Tell blue card. They can't have enough cards. That's a 5-mana line I just described. Stink into Stupid. They are still pretty dead here. Yeah, I'm not fighting over that. Carpet. We love a Carpet. Carpet is lethal. That gives me Entomb, Animate Archon. And they can't Force of Will because they're at 1. They can't Surgical Extraction because they're at 1. Entomb, that boy. Archon of Cruelty, Animate Dead, target it. Just a little lightning bolt with extra steps. And we remain undefeated. We march on.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play in round 4 with a hand that is weak to Wasteland but strong against literally everything else. I'm going to keep. Undercity Sewer, show me the fetch land. Oh, or I'll just put Atraxa in my damn graveyard. How about that shit? Now I don't even need to Entomb. Okay, Wasteland just got even more devastating because it won't even take me 2 turns to figure this out. Sweet. We love an Ancient Tomb. Chalice of the Void, too slow. Cacao. Pitch the Brainstorm, keep Lorien. And now we just run away with the game. Reanimate, targeting Atraxa Grand Unifier with a second Force of Will backup. Wow, Magic's easy when your land drop is also in Tomb and uncounterable. Okay, so we're playing against a deck with Ancient Tomb and Chalice of the Void in it. Could be red, could be Eldrazi, could be some sort of Artifact Prison deck. I have no idea. But I do feel like this is a matchup, if ever one there was, where we should be pivoting. At least until I have more information. And check me out. Look at this sideboard mapping I did when I was building the deck. 11 cards come in on the juke. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Watch the piles form. This is going to be cool. Can you see where this is going? Boom. 11 cards come out. You leave in a couple of Reanimates because you have your Barrogoyfs and you still have Rakshas's Bargain. Should I roll? Like high roll that this is red? I could cut 2 more Reanimates. Or maybe Thoughtseize is worse. Do I bring in 1 Hydroblast? Consign's good against any Ancient Tomb deck. Hydroblast is a full whiff against some. Okay, I'm going to cut a Thoughtseize for a Hydroblast. No, I'm not. I'm cutting 2 Thoughtseizes for 2 Hydroblasts. I'm going all the way in. Let's go. 13 card sideboard plan. In we go. Okay, this hand is very bad against Blood Moon, but is pretty good against Chalice. I'm going to keep and hope that they sideboard for Leyline of the Void or some garbage. I also don't know what their deck is outside of the macro archetype. They mulled to 6. Prismatic Vista. Oh, is this the Arraign Stiflenaught deck? Oh no. What green deck has Ancient Tomb in it? Lotus Petal. What are we doing? Is green initiative back? Okay, Chalice resolved. I'm pretty good against that. I have gotten to the point where I could fetch a basic swamp or island. Witherbloom Command cooks Chalice of the Void. Cavern on what? What are we naming? Goblin. Oh, are we like food chain stompy goblins? Exciting if true. I'm going to get my Undercity Sewer here. Who needs a basic land? Hydroblast. Well, we know they're goblins now. I'll keep that. I probably should have gotten Hedge Maze there because my hand already has 3 Underground Seas in it. Destroy target thing. Target player mills 3 and picks up a land. Target me. Target Chalice. They got 3 cards in their hand over there. Pluto Delta back in my grip. City of Traders. What are we doing? We got a Ringleader. Broadside Bombardier. Boom Zoom Boomby Dooms. That can die to Orcish Bowmaster or to Hydroblast, depending on how I want to sequence this turn. Reanimate. I could Bombardier them. Fascinating. Okay. I'm going to get Basic Island and play Uro. And that leaves up Hydroblast for the next turn. Or presents a real threat they have to respect. Either one is an outcome I'm okay with. Reanimating Uro, it would just die again. That's not a play, unfortunately. Would be cool if it was. Pitch to Spirit Guide to play Fable of the Mirror Breaker. This is not something I'm going to fight over. Okay, that's fine. I'm not going to kill the Broadside right away because if they want to throw their Goblin Shaman token at me, I don't care. And I'd rather just fetch Hedge Maze. Hedge Maze been fetched. I don't need land number 7. Force of Will in my hand now. I'm going to escape Uro, leaving a spell in the graveyard because Murktide is in here somewhere. Barrogoyf. And I am just going to pass. As much as I'd love to use Bowmaster to pressure this Fable trigger, I do at this point need to be interacting with Broadside Bombardiers probably. Though I do feel like I'm in really good shape. Discarded Chalice and Lotus Petal. Good call. Right, I'm going to Hydroblast, Broadside Bombardier. They moved into combat. I don't want to take any more damage. Please and thank you. I feel like there was probably a really cool sequence, if I had thought about it 3 turns ago, where I could kill Broadside, reanimate Broadside, and play the front half of Uro to fling Uro all at the same time. I don't know if that's better than what I did, but I think it was there. Okay, they need mana number 5 to the point where they're willing to attack with Goblin Shaman. This is probably Fury. Like, Hardcast Fury finishes off Uro and costs exactly the 5 they have here. But they don't have double red. Seasoned Dungeoneer. Interesting. Yeah, I'm going to force this, then reanimate it, and then I have the initiative and you don't. Just trying to figure out how I get the initiative here. I already have it is the answer. Oh my god, that's so many Barrogoyfs. Reanimate Seasoned Dungeoneer. Oh, yeah! No beanstalks involved, but juking onto just normal spells and big creatures was a plan. Onto a trophy round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I'm on the draw in the final trophy round. Opponent said they just beat Bryant, so my podcast pride is on the line here. Tropical Island. All right, how many draws am I happy with in my deck? There are 18 other lands, so that's 18. The 8 cantrips are good. That's 26. Lorien Revealed is 27. I have 2 chances at 27 outs. I will keep. And I have Force Blue card along the way. Undercity Sewer. Kept it on top. I'm jealous. All right, fetch land for the win. I'll take that. Okay, Underground Sea is in play. My plan is to cast Entomb with it. If they don't wasteland me immediately, I have Witherbloom Command that can do stuff as well. All right, let's have our first little fight of the game. Entomb. If they force, I'll force back. If they daze, I'm probably not fighting. Okay, they've got Force Pitching Bargain. I'll Force Pitching Daze. And Force Pitching Bargain again. Okay. You win the fight. But I'm up a bunch of cards. I think I have to Witherbloom just to try to hit a land. I mill 3, you lose 2. This could also mill Atraxa, which is the hilarious joke here. They're fetching in response to Witherbloom Command. Hedge Maze. Dumped another force. Did hit a land. That turns on my Barrogoyf or my Bargains. If they play Beanstalk right now, we're kind of behind, but 3 forces are already gone. Didn't slam a Murktide either. Okay, do I want to play Barrogoyf or do I want to bargain? I think I want to bargain. Because we do have the virtual card advantage thing going of if their hand just has like a Murderous Cut or Fatal Push in it or something, I have lines that can ignore that. And number 4, I'm going to get Bayou to just round out the colors. It is possible, perhaps even likely, that they're a Wasteland deck. All right, we saw them pitch 2 bargains to 2 forces. Now I'm going to start casting bargains. Oh, yeah. Now we're playing Magic. This trophy is going to be earned. They dumped Delta and Brainstorm. I'm going to keep Reanimate and Brainstorm. I lose Force of Negation and Tropical Island. Another bargain right here goes pretty hard. If I mill over a hit, I could just Reanimate. Or I could take my time to try to protect it. I'm going to Ponder. If I find Thoughtseize, which I play large numbers of, okay, I will take the Ponder. I'll shuffle before I play the next Ponder. Underground Sea, Ponder. Animate Dead. I don't need any of this shit. Oh, that actually went pretty poorly. Shuffle, Thoughtseize, Undercity Sewer. Already played a land this turn. Okay. That didn't go great. A lot of looks at 3 copies of Thoughtseize and didn't actually find anything. Mortuary played. Do I want to Brainstorm now? It is possible that they are a Bowmaster deck. I am going to Brainstorm now. Okay, Swamp, Undercity Sewer, go back. Or Undercity Sewer, Swamp. Because then I can bargain past the sewer. That's better than sewering past the swamp. Up the Beanstalk. Disappointing. If I don't get something going soon, it might be too late. Brainstorm is not Murktide Region. I'll take it. And a Ponder right after a Brainstorm. Hopefully we see a shuffle here. We did see a shuffle. And basic Island deployed. Okay, I'm drawing Swamp, and then I'm playing Bargain. They only have 1 force left in their deck. blue, green, black. There's going to be sewer and 3 other ones in here. Brainstorm, fetch land. All right. Did they have any creatures? They do not. All right. Brainstorm, fetch land. I think I'd like to brainstorm. Okay. Entomb has been recovered. Put back Archon and I guess it's Ponder at this point. And I got a pass here. Another Beanstalk. I don't like it. I think I'm supposed to Entomb in my upkeep, though. This is a lot of looks. There's one card in their deck I'm worried about, but they are getting so many looks at it. But right now, I have to be worried about Daze, where it becomes just Force if I wait. And Ponder's not a bad card to draw either, so I could draw the Ponder, try to find Thoughtseize, and then see if I can get it all together at once. They shuffled another Ponder. They saw a lot of cards that turn, though. I don't know if they have the Endurance tech that I am a big believer in myself. Fetch for Tropical Island. Nope, I'm out of those, apparently. Underground Sea it is. Ponder. These are the same cards again. If I bargain here, the Archon goes. Okay, I'm going to go Archon, Misty, Reanimate, and I'll draw the Reanimate, and then I'm going to fire an Entomb. If this dumps the Archon, we're good. If they force this, I can bargain. Archon of Cruelty. Reanimate that. I can send many Reanimates this turn. Archon's in. This could get murderously cut. Bowmaster. Not ideal. This is some damage in a way that they can tread water against an Archon. Okay, I go to 12. Oh, I can Atraxa here too. Gross. Alright, I drew Entomb. This seems like it's worth doing. Entomb, Atraxa Grand Unifier, Reanimate her. I go to 3. Or 4. Man, math is easy. Force of Will goes with the blue cards in my hand. There's that Thoughtseize I've been looking for the entire game. Animate Dead's a freebie. Wasteland. Thoughtseize, I guess this is what I want. Okay, as long as I don't get burned out by Witherbloom Command, we're in good position. Nice, alright, yeah, that was actually really fun back and forth gameplay. Now the question is, do I want to meet them in the field of Beanstalk battle? Or just be this deck? This might be a partial juke. I'm not very good at partial juking, though. The partial juke would be like Murderous Cut, Endurance, Carpet of Flowers, Bowmaster. And I would board out. I mean, Force Negation is just not good in the matchup. This is kind of the second tier. Yeah, it didn't show them Baragoyf or Uro that game, though. They might actually just think I'm Bug Reanimator. How do I use that to my advantage? If I shave the Animate Deads and some Entombs and let Bargain and Witherbloom Command do the work, having this few Entombs does make the Reanimates I am playing quite a bit worse. What if I go no Entombs and I bring in some of my own Beanstalks? This pops off on Force of Will. I have Bowmaster to challenge their Bowmaster. My mana's going to be good with Carpet. Maybe Daze is worse. I'm inventing a partial juke on the fly. This was not in my plan at all. A 4 reanimates, no Entombs. Lots of ways to see cards. This does just put 2 kind of blanks in my deck, but I'm into it. I'm not into it. Let's try it out. If my opponent overcorrects and goes graveyard heavy or mulligans to Oblivion, I'm going to be happy with this pivot. I'm not happy with my 1-lander. I'm pretty happy with this one, and I'll put Archon on the bottom. This gives me a chance to Thoughtseize a Beanstalk before it shows up. Kept their card. Force of Will someday will be good. I'm just going to get basic Swamp here. Make sure Wasteland doesn't make this game harder than it needs to for me. Force of Will pitching this town ain't big enough. Okay. This feels like an opponent who has Beanstalk and would like to resolve it, but I have Witherbloom Command to clear it. Oh wow. Or they were all in on this Brainstorm. What's going on here? Interesting. Hedge Maze found, and they get to clear a card they just put back with Brainstorm. Draw my own Beanstalk. Alright. Tropical Island. I am not going to play this Witherbloom Command just for value. I don't need to pick up a land here, and knowing that they have Beanstalk in their deck and Bowmaster. Ooh, multiple islands in their deck. That is not how I'm constructing Bug Beans right now, so that's interesting. Alright, well, Here's one of these. They wanted to force one of these all these turns ago. Now I get another shot at it. Bargaining over the top. That's fair. Dump 2 lands, and Thoughtseize sees a handful of gas. I guess it's got to be Barrogoyf. I don't really have a plan for that. But now it's something I can reanimate, even though this town puts it back in their hand. Brainstorm. The first of many. Hand is all spells. A Brainstorm, and they appear to be passing. Did not find a land nor a shuffle. This could represent Bowmaster, a card I'm not excited to play against. Carpet of Flowers is interesting, though. I don't think it does anything for me. I'm just going to hold up this Endurance. Okay, my opponent has an Endurance they can't cast. I have an Endurance I can cast. I think I'm just going to do this. I don't want Murktide Regent to be a good rip. And if they force this, it's not a big deal. That does clear the Barrogoyf that I would have liked to reanimate, but that's not actually happening. Interesting. I can cast Atraxa next turn. I'm going to play Carpet and see what happens. Yeah, this is exactly enough. I make white, that's 7 to cast Atraxa with. Attack with Endurance. I am not going to Witherbloom. I'm still worried about Bowmaster and Beanstalk. Brainstorm. Okay, if I draw a blue card to protect Atraxa with Force of Will, I am so in. Any blue card deck, that counts. Okay, I'm going to attack with Endurance first and see what happens here. Like if they fetch Tropical Island to touch butts with my Endurance, that's something I can abuse. Okay, yes, make white. Atraxa's on the Staxa. This town ain't big enough, not a good answer to Atraxa. Force pitching this town. Force pitching Bargain. They're fetching. Something's going to happen. No, that's so good. Devastating. All right. Genuinely devastating, actually. Okay, but now Atraxa's in the graveyard, which is where I theoretically want her. Though Endurance can put her back in my deck. And a Bargain. Ugh, that was a really good turn. Yeah, the temptation was there to just cast Bargain and grind, but I wanted to send it a little bit because they're probably better at grinding than me. Oh, their own Carpet. All right, all of my advantages are gone. 3 black in the pool. Casting a Bargain. Where did their black mana go? Did they pay 2 colorless into that? I don't know what just happened. I wonder if they shuffled away this Endurance or if they don't have it anymore, or do they just have a green card to pitch and they don't care? Sorry for the background noise. My neighbor is loudly mowing their lawn right in this moment. All right, I need a big draw here. Brainstorm could be a big draw. My Witherbloom command got Thoughtseized while I was elsewhere dealing with the lawnmower noise. All right, Brainstorm with 3 blue in the pool. Reanimate. That card gets cooked by the Endurance in hand, but at least it would cost them 2 cards to use it right now. Or I could wait till next turn where I have Force backup. I have to put 2 of these back. I think I want to just like make them have it. Reanimate Atraxa. If they have to pitch a Bargain or something, yeah, Force pitching Force, fine. And they are taking beats from this Endurance. I'm at 16 life to their 5. And if they fetch, it becomes 4. Another Brainstorm on top of my deck right now. Brainstorm, made black off Carpet. Barrogoyf, yep, that one's good. Brainstorm's gotta do a lot of work here. Maybe I was foolish for not waiting on the Force. This is twice this game that I could have sent it and didn't. Or I did send it when I had a reasonable backup plan to not send it. And both times they had the answer. I don't want Wasteland, and now I'm about to start losing to Barrogoyf. I think I have to chump Barrogoyf. I can't really afford them picking up a Bowmaster or Murktide here. I don't think I'm going to deck them. Okay, I will block. Made black off Carpet again. Ponder. You know, Bargain could fix everything for me. That's probably the card I'm most interested in drawing. Like Bargain into Thoughtseize plus Reanimate would be pretty good. Bargain. Ponder. All right, I'm making blue. Yes, make blue. Cast Ponder. Ponder into Bargain. Fatal Push, another Ponder. I'm going to shuffle. I don't think Fatal Push. Well, I can't get Delirium either. Or Revolt, whatever it is. All right. They got me. I sent it twice when I had lines to go slower, and I think that might have been a mistake. Now on the play, do I want to just be back into this universe? I never even cast a Beanstalk, so it's like they didn't even see one. They saw Carpet. I think I like Bowmaster enough. Days might still be bad. Shave 1 Entomb, 1 Animate. That's Murktide, Endurance, Beanstalk out. I kind of think I want to stick with this plan, though. They're on Barrogoyf Beats. I have all my answers to that in already. No, I think I'm being foolish. I would like the send available on the play. All right, let's go. A Ponder. I will keep on the strength of Ponder, but it does need to find some lands. Okay, Ponder finds even a single black source. Witherbloom commands online. Okay, cool. This is basically perfect. Thoughtseize on top of my deck. Found the fetch land to make the game work. We've seen Veil of Summer now as something they have, but can't cast it off this tapped Hedge Maze. Dumped a Beanstalk. Wow. Did they keep a one-lander or do they already have a Beanstalk? Those are the potential excuses for that. Underground Sea, Thoughtseize. Veil, Force, Bowmaster, Brainstorm. I think I'm taking Force of Will here. Does that make sense? I think it's going to have to. I'm taking Force. I could have taken a Bowmaster and reanimated it, but I'd rather give myself a chance to draw Entomb or resolve this bargain and hit. Oh, what a hit. Okay. A land is good here. Thoughtseize. Well, we know that'll get veiled. So I'm going to pass and hold up Fatal Push for a Bowmaster if they end step it, but I don't think they will. They'll probably get a Surveil land and just play it patiently. Or not. Or what do I know? Maybe I'm just a silly goose and I don't know what I'm talking about. I think I have to push this because the Veil is there. I would prefer to Witherbloom command it, but if they just dump out Bowmaster after Bowmaster on subsequent turns, that does not do what I need it to. Brainstorm. Yeah, Veil of Summer is such a good card. Do you know this is banned in some formats? Okay, Orc Army getting in. And they're fetching in the main phase. If they play out a Beanstalk, this gives me a wide open place to Witherbloom command. No, they're pondering. All right. Come on, lands. All right. Witherbloom command gonna have to do here. I'll give their creature -3/-1, and I'll mill 3. This does have 2 targets, so they can't Veil to fizzle it. They could Veil to protect their Orc Army if they care about that a lot. Okay, I hit Bayou. Polluted Delta's better than Bayou, because that can be a Surveil land. And pass the turn. Main phase Bowmaster. Not fighting that shit. I'm fetching for Undercity Sewer here. I'm looking for a monster, an Entomb. I will take a Hedge Maze, though. That lets me continue to sculpt a longer-term plan. Hedge Maze. I don't think I want another Reanimate. I could Reanimate their Bowmaster, their first Bowmaster, and kill their one that's in play right now. Yeah, Veil blows that out, too. I'll just bargain. They have Brainstorm, Veil, and 2 unknowns at this point. They're pushing damage. I'm down to 11. And Reanimate's getting dicey. End step bargain. 2 forces. Or a land. Do I want all 4 forces in my hand? I guess I do. Winning a counter war is how I win this game at this point. Reanimate. Alright. I'm going to reanimate Bowmaster. This puts me to 9, but does get the board stable. Something's happening in response. Bargaining in response, I think, is okay. Dumped a bunch of lands. There's that Brainstorm still in response. This taps them out of Veil, which means I could Thoughtseize them this turn. Which might not solve any of my problems, because Thoughtseize will put me under 8 life, where Reanimate's pretty bad. Force pitching Ponder. Force pitching Force. Reanimate works. Kill the Bowmaster. Now I'll Thoughtseize them. And see what's left over there. We're playing to the board now, kids. Veil, Endurance, Murderous Cut. I think it's got to be Veil. Yeah, I'm taking Veil. That shuts down my whole game plan. Like, I could just reanimate the other Bowmaster now. All right, I've been cut murderously. Bowmaster's gone. Brainstorm. Okay. It's a pretty low resource, though. Their life total is high. I have another counterspell in my hand. I have 1 Barrogoyf in my deck. Yeah, the other's still in the sideboard. Not having any animates in is something that maybe I should have considered better. A Ponder. Did not shuffle Ponder. Didn't offer the trade. Okay. My own Murderous Cut. Fun. Alright, I'm going to get their Bowmaster back again. I go to 4, I attack for 2. I have a Bowmaster available now. And I can answer their next 2 plays. Gotta do 17 from here. Okay, Endurance is fine. I can cut that. They're targeting me. I will Murderous Cut in response, exiling cards that I don't want to draw again. That's Polluted Delta, Entomb, Polluted Delta. Wasteland's not that good here. Yeah, just a bunch of lands and an Entomb out of there. Okay. Brainstorm is not bad. I'll send it if I find my Barrogoyf here. I did not. Archon and Misty. I'll ponder, move these cards around. My Bowmasters are in here somewhere too. Another Brainstorm. Oh, that's almost good. I think I'm going to take the Brainstorm, and that lets me Brainstorm with a fetch land available next turn. I'm actually just Carpet of Flowers away from casting Archon. Okay, opponent with a pass. This could be Endurance, could be Bowmaster of their own, could be a handful of nothing. Now I have Hardcast Force available too. I like that. All right, I'm just going to do the damage. Wow, no plays. All right, great. Great. And we're in their turn. And they're suddenly on a 3-turn clock and are not showing a lot of strength. I'm going to fetch here, which will briefly tap me out of Hardcast Force. I hope they don't take advantage of that. And they didn't. All right. That clears the Archon, drawing wild. Another one. This one's mine. Look at the art. It's different. I can ambush them in the end step with this other Bowmaster, and that actually does change the clock. That's exactly 6 damage. With Force backup. Fetch. And now I have a plan if they have a line that's like kill your Bowmaster cantrip, because I can flash in the other Bowmaster over the top. Ooh, this town bouncing 2 things is powerful. That bounces their Bowmaster. I'm actually going to pitch cast Force on this. Leave up the Hardcast Force or the Lethal Bowmaster. Alright, I lose to Witherbloom Command here. Well, it's a lethal play, but I have Force if they can protect it. Now if I end step Bowmaster, what could happen? I think I gotta go to my turn, see if I draw a blue card. Okay, they're doing something in my upkeep. Hardcast Force. Ooh, they forced me back. Bad news, team, because this is their Bowmaster. It'll go to their hand. All right, I'm going to be at 1. Well, I can't play that. All right, well, the only card in their hand is Bowmaster. I have Witherbloom Commands in my deck. Please don't Thoughtseize me. I actually have the Bowmaster covered. All right, there's Bowmaster. I'm at 1. Don't have another Bowmaster, please. No, don't tap mana. No! Ah! Life is shit. Well, for what it's worth, if I have to be defeated in the trophy round by the honest version without the bullshit of my own deck, that's fine. That was a really great match. This league, it was a lot of fun to play. I don't think the juke makes any sense, honestly. Like, I have this Beanstalk thing going off in the sideboard, but I brought it in once. It was against the Stompy deck. That's probably the only place you'd be really interested in that. If you use your sideboard instead to beat the decks that are a little faster than you or answer hate cards, like pack a bunch of Force Negations or whatever to clear the Ley Lines and the Soul Guide Lanterns and then just reanimate them over the top, which is how Reanimator was constructed at the end of last format. That's probably just a better way to do this. I think this is a Thomas Edison Award for an idea that didn't work. But what did work is Rakshas's Bargain in a Reanimator shell. The very first one of the entire league that I cast put Atraxa in the graveyard and put Reanimate in my hand all at once from one card. Obviously, it's a 3-drop at best, sometimes a 4-drop if your mana's not quite coming together, and that's different than the Turbo Reanimator deck. But you have Entomb to cover the gap. Yeah, there probably is something here. The shell still needs to be figured out. The sideboard juke doesn't make any sense. Don't do that. Sad to say. But this is why we explore things. God Santa, thank you for the runway to explore this space. Pokemoki, thank you for the base list that I fiddled with a little bit to get here. Everyone else, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon to support the channel, and I'll see you next time.